It's a lovely winter day in southwest Missouri, and we are headed to the scrapyard this morning. I have a lot of scrap tin from where I cut with my plasma cutter. I cut stuff out of it. You can see back there, there's some stuff left over from a wedding. There's a lot underneath it where I cut all sorts of different stuff out of the old rusty barn tin. So every now and then I really got to get rid of all that stuff because it makes a huge pile out in front of my junk shed, and it's kind of dangerous when it gets windy and it just looks bad, and I need room to put more of it. So anyway, I'm headed to the scrapyard this morning with that stuff, and then we had an old junk fridge back here. We took the compressor off of it, and then we had one in the garage that was sapping a lot of electricity, so I took the compressor off of it and loaded it up, and then we went to the farm, and we are getting ready to tear down the old machine shed at the farm. It's in real bad shape, and there's just a lot of metal scrap from my dad farming for 40 years. And so we filled up the refrigerator with, both of the refrigerators, with small pieces of scrap and pieces of pipe and old plumbing fittings, and just, I mean, you wouldn't even believe all the stuff that we put in buckets and dumped into those yesterday. So anyway, interested to see how much weight's on this trailer. I got her hooked to the truck, and tires are all checked, and we're headed to Missouri Metal Recycling in Webb City, which is near Joplin, about 30 miles away. We're here. And the first thing we do when we get here is we weigh across the scales with the full load, and then after we get unloaded, we'll weigh empty. So this is all the aluminum area, and then we go towards the back and it's all steel. I'm gonna stop up here and talk to, there's usually a guy up here that I talk to, and he tells me where to go, whether I need to wait or what. They have big grappling claw machines, and then they also have magnet machines. That one up there is a magnet machine. I'm gonna unstrap right here and wait for instructions. There's actually not anyone here today to tell me what to do, but I know what I usually do, which is drive all the way back to like the third pile, and then they unload me back there. But I know that there's a truck and trailer already back there unloading, so I'm just gonna hang tight for a minute. So while I'm waiting, there is always lots of really cool stuff here that I like want to stop and throw in the pickup, and you can actually do that, but I never do because, man, there's just always more out there to be found. But if there was something that I couldn't resist, I probably wouldn't hesitate to stop and throw it in the trailer. As long as you weigh on your way out when you're empty, as long as you weigh with that in there, you're good to go. So anyway, the last time I was here, they had some huge gears. I don't even know what they could have been from. Maybe from like a crane or something like that. But they were gigantic and beautiful and rusty and all these teeth, and man, they would have been really cool for some gigantic sculptures. Maybe someday. But I see lots of cool, like, old little red wagon beds and bicycles and iron bed frames and all sorts of really cool stuff that people throw away. I'm rolling on down there because I've got to be about done with that guy. All wiring. Look at all of those wheel hubs and brake drums. Crazy. So there's a rail spur over here on the back side of all the piles, and after all this is sorted, and I think they pre-shred everything too, after all that's done, it goes in the rail cars, and then it gets sent off to a smelter, I imagine. And then it's turned into all sorts of different cool new stuff. So it's nice that some of the stuff that gets thrown away gets brought down here and recycled, but a lot of people just throw stuff out on the curb and it ends up in a landfill. And metal stuff does not turn into methane gas like lots of other garbage that gets put into a landfill and turned into other energy sources. It just sits there and rusts and decomposes. So the next time you have something metal to throw away, look for somebody to come and get it. at the very least, I mean, at least it's off your hands and it's not stuck in the ground and taking up space in a hole. And some people will pay to take metal stuff away, you know, or like washers and dryers, they'll pay to come and get them, and then they'll either part them out or they'll take them and scrap them out. So you might only get 20 bucks for like a scrap old washer or dryer, but at least it's going somewhere and it's going to be recycled. So these guys are unloading the truck in front of me. There's the magnet. He's getting ready to throw some stuff. The truck and trailer is right in front of the one right in front of me that says 924 on it. Oh, see, that grappling claw just picked up a really cool piece of like ornate iron. Heartbreaking. Over here in that pile, there's a whole bunch of kind of sort of what I do, but those pieces are off of a plasma table. It's the scrap left over from somebody using a computer-driven plasma cutting table to cut parts for stuff, for products. That's what that entire pile is. Now they're cleaning up the area where they just unloaded that truck. They'll take the magnet and scan the ground and make sure there's no nails or tiny bits of metal. Sometimes you have to sit and wait for other trucks to come through too. Okay, I'm gonna climb out and see if I can tape him unloading this stuff. Probably going to end up having to get the magnet back up here, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, the refrigerator is crumbling, but he's getting it. It is really full of short iron and very heavy. And so is that one. So he got to a point where he can't get any more out, and he's called in a magnet. The grapple operator just left, and I'm waiting on a magnet, and I am totally taking this piece of ornate iron. Look at it, it is so pretty. I got it. This magnet guy's super nice. He always unloads me. so he can control the power of the magnet, and that's what releases the metals. And that's how he sorts the heavier stuff from the lighter stuff. Almost empty. Now he'll sweep the whole bed out of the trailer. No, maybe not yet. Okay, we're unloaded. I'm gonna get myself turned around and get back up and weigh empty. Stopped and talked to the unload guy for a minute. He asked how we were doing, said long time no see. It has been probably 3 or 4 months since we've been here, so we'll be coming back pretty regularly. I got a lot of stuff I want to get cleaned up around the farm this winter. Since we're not farming anymore, I don't really need all the scrap I've been saving and that my dad saved. And I'm honestly raising some funds to pay for some materials for a big project that I'm working on. So stay tuned for that. I've been taking some videos as I prepare and get everything rounded up and start making my lists for materials and stuff. And you'll start seeing some videos on that pretty soon. But this is a great way for me to get the cash to pay for these materials that I need, is to get rid of all this old metal that's laying around on the farm. And also it's cool because I can go through it too and pull out anything that I think that I can use for art projects and sculptures and stuff, and cleaning up the landscape a little bit. I'm gonna weigh empty, and then I have some aluminum in the back of the pickup, and I think I have a couple old electric motors and some stuff like that. And they take that up here inside at the building, and it's just a few extra bucks probably. The real money is back there in the steel in the load. So anyway, we're gonna get that done and then get paid and get out of here. A little bit of a line to get on the scales to weigh empty. Okay, we got a truck and trailer up here on the ramp ahead of us. This is where we pull in to get rid of aluminum, copper, brass, anything like that. We had a pretty light load, so we had 2,660 pounds on the trailer, and then we ended up light scrap like that is only $90 a ton. So, and then we had the aluminum and some motors and a little bit of brass, and so I got $30, almost $32 for that stuff, and then 119 and change for the metal on the trailer. So ended up with about 150 bucks out of the load. It's worth it to haul it down here and get the mess cleaned up. And that will pay for a little chunk of the supplies I'm needing for this project that I'm working on. I still have a lot of scrap to clean up at the farm, so next load ought to be quite a bit bigger because we won't have all that light stuff taking up all the room. So until next time, thanks for watching.